UPenn officially caving to the president's common sense agenda, banning all biological men from participating in women's sports. It is a huge update, and what a victory it is for women in this country, and especially for women in sports in this country. The school has been under investigation for Title IX violations revolving around Leah Thomas, the obvious biological man who dominated the women's swim program at that school shamelessly. What a humiliating thing that was, this gigantic dude that called himself a girl. Leah will now be stripped of his titles, while stolen records will be restored to those women who lost to Leah, along with the school giving formal apologies to those affected. UPenn is not the only school resetting the culture of the campus. We've seen Columbia also caving to the president and this common sense wave, demanding they fix their anti-Semitism issue on campus after they let these little mini terrorists run around and just attack Jewish people and terrify them in order to regain their federal funding at Columbia. And Harvard currently also in a standoff with the Trump administration over anti-Semitism and also their ridiculous hiring practices on the campus as well. So we're seeing some real big victories here in the culture shift. And Kari Lake is with us now to talk about all of this. First off, let's start with UPenn, a woman yourself. What does that mean? I mean, it's an incredible victory, right?
It's a massive victory. You know, it's sad, though, that that moment was lost. That moment of victory was lost for the athletes along the way, and not just at UPenn, but at schools all across this country and all across high schools across the country as well. I wish they could actually redo the award ceremony and give the women who really did win the awards, their award. But I also think of the damage that's been done to the high school athletes who had to compete in high school with men who were faking being women on these athletic teams, and they lost their ability to even get a college scholarship because they weren't able to set the records that they should have. I don't know how you undo it all, but this is a really good start. I like the idea of the public apologies, and I also like the idea of giving them the award. But as I said, for those women who never got their chance to even compete in college because they had to compete with men in high school, it's a little too late.
Yeah. It's such a slam. I mean, these are some of the biggest signifiers of what the far left was over the last few years. I mean, you've got the rampant anti-Semitism and the pro-Hamas craziness, also the men and women's sports. I mean, these were two of the biggest things that made every American with a real brain in their head say, what the hell is happening to our country? This was a huge reason why Trump was able to win in the last election, was because you had Kamala Harris up there that would not touch any of this and went along with it. And I think most importantly, it validates how most people feel. When they see this, when they see UPenn capitulating, when they see Columbia capitulating, it says we were right. And even more importantly, to the people that went along with that nonsense for the last few years and said, oh, I agree with that. Oh, yeah, there's no proof that men have any advantage over women, biological men have any advantage over women. And the people that felt that the ridiculous nonsense on the campuses was justified because Israel really is, some kind of a bad state and a bad actor. It pushes all of that aside and it slams all of that to the ground. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. It's closing a very ugly chapter, that, as ugly as it was definitely a wake-up call for a lot of Americans who were on the sideline, maybe not paying attention. And it woke them up, big time. And so hopefully we never go back to that kind of insanity again.
Yeah, well said. Wanted to get your take. We had a very interesting day in the courts in this country. Diddy, Puff Daddy, he's had a million names. The trial verdict was reached today, and he has effectively, I mean, he's only been found guilty of two of, I think, the softer counts, which is transportation to engage in prostitution, just moving people across state lines, this Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend. I mean, the most serious charges he was acquitted for, racketeering, things like that. What is your reaction to this verdict in this case? Because there's reactions all over the place.
Boy, I don't know if they just lack the evidence to prove coercion or if the jury may have gotten it wrong. We've been so accustomed to being disappointed by the courts and even by juries in the past several years. But I think one thing is the court of public opinion. And that's where Sean Combs lost big time. And frankly, everybody who we've ever seen in photos at these parties, now that we know the disgusting things that were going on, the depraved activity that was going on, now that we know what was going on in that lifestyle, I don't think you can ever get your reputation back from that. And it was another wake-up call. We've had a lot of them in the past few years of just how depraved, in some ways, Hollywood and that, part of the entertainment industry really is. So I don't know if he can call it a win that he didn't get found guilty on every charge, because no one will ever look at that guy the same. I certainly won't. I do feel sad for the victims in all of this. I don't believe that they got justice, but as I said, we're so used to not seeing justice lately in the courts.
Everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.